This afternoon, drag racing from Willowbank in Queensland. It's the Castrol New Year Series. Now, this is a purpose-built raceway. In excess of 15,000 people have turned out to see Australia's best in action. Now, you talk about drag racing, you talk about the best, you've got to think of Jim Reid. In 23 years, he's captured 14 Australian titles. He's held every record imaginable. He was the first man to break 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 5 seconds. Doesn't matter. Throw a record at him, he's held it somewhere along the line. One of the strangest records is his sponsorship. The Winfield cars, red, yellow and white cars, for 23 years, an individual record in sponsorship in Australia. In fact, one of the longest individual sponsorships run anywhere in the world. Can the old champ come out and get the money? I think he can. Only time will tell this afternoon. Qualifying, always so vital. Let's go to the early rounds.
Well, this is the man the crowd have come to see. Let me tell you, look at him smoking up. Imagine the emotion running through Jimmy Reid's brain at the moment. He'd love to win here. This is qualifying, of course, taking on Robin Kirby. Arch rival there. Kirby can never write him off. But Jimmy Reid has the emotion of this meeting, has the emotion of the last time the Winfield car in these colours. Wow, what about pressure with a capital P?
That's what the story is, and it's qualifying at the moment. The conditions are incredible, almost 40 degrees. The track temperature, 60 degrees. These cars, 5,000 horsepower. Traction is paramount. How do you make a car stick on 60-degree hot mix?
Robin Kirby, the Victorian, takes on the New South Wales, and away they go. Both get him. Oh, look at Reid, he's in business. Reid just powers his way down the strip, and a lot of smoke. He was still burning rubber going over the line.
5.30 to a 6.11 for Robin Kirby. Reid did break traction, but he handled it pretty well, was able to pedal it through.
All right, Steve Reid this time from the United Kingdom takes on Terry Sainty from New South Wales.
Well, Steve Reid now driving for Santo Rapasado in this car, has run 298 mile an hour. If anybody can run 300 today, it'd be this man. Terry Sainty, of course, in the Australian-built car, the Australian-built engine, 3 valves per cylinder. It really is an engineering marvel from the Sainty Engineering, this car. And it'll be interesting to see how they're going on trying to get on top of the combination.
Steve Reid now comes up to the line. This fellow's very popular also in this country.
Has been, well, he's calling it home now. That's what it comes down to. He wants to go back and race in Europe as a visitor and live in Australia.
Haven't seen much of Terry Sainty personally, but gee whiz, the car looks the business. And away they go. He gets out of shape and smokes it up. Oh, never mind about that. And look at that. And Reid smoked them up halfway down too. Oh, that's that track temperature you talked about.
Well, Steve Reid smoked the tyres, decided he'd have another bite at it to see whether he could salvage the run. A 766 isn't quick in top fuel terms.
Yeah, spot on, Rob. Those temperatures are going to have a big bearing through the day. Of course, it'll cool down a little later on. But look at that. Both drivers got smoked up, and then Reid had another go. And boy, oh boy, can that get you into some trouble. No doubt about that. All right, Rachelle Splatt, let's hope she keeps out of trouble. She'll be one of the big players here, and she talks now to Michael Maher.
As you can see, you don't have to be in a racing suit to be losing weight today. It's about 40 degrees in the shade. Better day for the beach, Rachelle?
Definitely, to be in the water.
Now, what effect will this heat have on the engines?
Well, the engines won't make as much power as they normally would when it's very humid, because it's very humid today. It does affect the way the engines perform.
So, will you go through 5 seconds? Is that a possibility?
We've had better days to do it. You never know. We could go out there and it could just have run 4 seconds, under 5 seconds, but I doubt it very much.
300 miles an hour?
Definitely not 300 miles an hour. It's very hard to run 300 miles an hour anyway, and I don't think today is going to be on our side for the heat, the humidity.
A very together lady and Rob Oberg, exactly what we were talking about, the heat. Now, if you can get through the day, of course, it'll be cooler tonight.
Well, it'll be a totally new racetrack tonight. The air temperature will drop, the sun will go off that hot mix, and I think the guys and ladies that get through qualifying the best will have an advantage.
Darren DeFilippo takes on Rachelle Splatt. Down they come. One big blast and it's all over.
Yeah, she's blown the tyres off it at about the 200-300 foot mark, where a lot of the racers have been having trouble. We saw Jim Reid able to recover back there. He ended up with a 5.30. That's number one. Rachelle a 6.05. She's further down the field.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jimmy Reed's handled these conditions better than anybody, and look at him smoking up now. Terry Sainty. Wow, you don't have to try too hard because they're just spinning away.
They're doing everything they can in these afternoon qualifying sessions. Bob Sherry now in the NEC top fueler from South Australia. We don't see him on the circuit that often, but when he comes out, he's a real player.
Sainty and Sherry. Sainty from New South Wales, Bob Sherry from South Australia. Good shot from behind here. And coming in to have the battle now. Let's see if they can keep it on the track. They can this time round, but no, again, this surface is just a nightmare. Sherry and Sainty.
Well, Bob Sherry's handled it the best, though, with the NEC car, a 585. That puts him in number 2 at the moment. Terry Sainty smoked the tyres in the same place as Rachelle Splatt.
Well, I'm sure Steve Reed's been having a look as he smokes them up. He'll take on Graham Cowin. They would have been having a real good look at the runs prior to them, and this is really about being disciplined on this track.
Well, I don't think any of these guys will be trying to build horsepower at the moment. It'll be a case of trying to tame them down. You know, 5,000 horsepower is a lot of horsepower to tame, but boy, Steve Reed, he looks unhappy in that car.
Yeah, the body language tells you that Steve Reed's not happy. Graham Cowin, first we've seen him here at Willowbank. This time round comes out against Reed. We've seen the troubles that they've all had. There's Cowin now. Magnificently turned out car. And he really is always hard to beat as he lights it up. And look at that, out of the box he goes now. And again has trouble. So Cowin really just gets there, but he's had his problems too. Well, Jimmy Reed looking okay at the moment. Stay with us. Plenty of action coming your way.
Just out of Ipswich, southwest of Brisbane, this track regularly attracts crowds of over 15,000. Now that's about double what the very popular Ipswich Rugby League team can deliver. The crowd here is dedicated, and they've made a dedicated drag racing track for them. This is Nitro Nirvana.
I can't get away from the place. I like it so much, I just keep coming back. It's more excitement. It's horsepower against horsepower.
I like the top fuelers.
Oh, the nitro, the noise, it's just pure grunt, isn't it?
I didn't realise it was that loud.
Okay, safety. Most important in motor racing, Michael Maher talks safety to Jim Reed.
What you have to remember is that a top fueler carries 16 gallons of nitromethane. And if there is a blow-up or a collision in mid-run, it could be a potential disaster. Jim Reed, we saw that happen in Melbourne last year with Keith Aegis in a funny car. You know, how dangerous is it?
Oh, it's a top fuel driver's nightmare, really. What you've seen in the funny cars about the worst situation, mainly caused through the collision on that run. He had a minor fire earlier, but on the impact, fuel tank exploded. Not a great deal of difference in respect to the trouble you can get into with a fuel car, because these things, believe it or not, the fire will actually come down around the side of the car and engulf you. It'll come from behind in the vacuum. So we wear this fire suit. This is the coat that we wear.
What does that do for you, Jim?
Well, that gives us 3 minutes of protection. Let me tell you, you wouldn't want to be sitting in it for too long, but 30 seconds, I believe it's 2,000 degrees.
So what's your second most important item of wear?
Well, probably the neck brace. This little baby here goes around the neck. Naturally, it sits on top of the coat. Underneath the helmet sits down on top, and it stops your head from doing this business.
Don't you like how laid back about doing this business? The G-forces that these cars produce on your neck. This man ready to do the business, and he puts the G-forces up into action. Terry Sainty gets a terrific reception from the crowd.
Yeah, Terry, one of the young guns in top fuel. He's up against Bob Sherry in the NEC car. Sherry was the number 2 qualifier. He handled the heat pretty well this afternoon, ran a 5.8. And, well, Sainty, he was blowing the tyres off the car with wheel spin.
Now, Rob, we've spoken about it at length earlier today, the heat in the track, the fact that these cars are having so much trouble getting enough action or getting enough grip and bite to get them off the line and down that straight. Now, because it is cooling down, is this going to make it easier?
Well, the engines will like it better. The air's cooling down quicker than the tarmac, of course. That'll retain the heat for quite some time. But I believe though these rounds should get faster and faster and quicker as we go through the night.
Fantastic noise, these things. They really do bring everybody alive. No doubt about that. Anyone who was having a break, they come back to the fences. Sainty from New South Wales. Sherry, of course, from South Australia. There he is there, the Crow Eater. Brings it up. Second qualifier so far today. He really did a terrific job. Away they go. Sainty gets it out. Oh, geez, it got hooked up on the line, but it gets out now. Sainty's gone down. Sherry's out of business. Terry Sainty did a terrific job, but oh boy, what a shaky start.
It was a big start for Terry Sainty, and a 5:44 is his quickest run ever, his first ever Top Fuel win light. Look at him, he leaves the line hard. Sherry's been left behind this time in the NEC car. Sainty moves around a little bit, but it's looking good.
No doubt about that. Sainty got the business, shut it down there. Michael Mark caught up with him straight after the run.
Terry Sainty, 5.44 seconds. That's a personal best.
I don't even know what to say. It's the first time I've ever won a Top Fuel race in this Eagle Top Fuel dragster. I think all the crew and myself are just over the moon. We've got to get back and get busy. And
this is made in Australia, everything here?
The engine, the car, everything you're looking at is totally made in Australia at Wentworthville. We've got a lot of smart people in the crew. There's Dennis, Norm, Stan, all the guys. And our sponsor, Eagle Silicon Ignition Leads. And I think we're all the right people behind us.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A proud winner.
Thanks a lot. Next round.
How refreshing is Terry Sainty? Gee whiz, that's nice to hear, isn't it?
Well, incredibly, as we watch Robin Kirby burn out, the only thing on that car of the Sainty's they haven't built are the wheels, tyres and supercharger.
Yeah, terrific effort from the Sainty crew. Well done. Righto, next match up now, Robin Kirby and Graham Cowin. Cowin in the yellow and black car with the Rocket Industries and Shell colours on it. And Kirby backing it up here. They are fantastic match-up this. Now Kirby in the red, white, blue colours, you can never write Kirby off. A real street fighter.
Robin the Giant Killer, they call him, because he won't qualify at the top of the order, but if the guy beside him even blinks, even sneezes, Kirby will have him.
Robin Kirby comes back. Graham Cowin, the fastest man in Australia, the man that you seem to be chasing at every racetrack that he appears on, but hasn't been going well as good as we expect of him with his standards. So he's going to have a bit of work to do, I think.
Well, he's been using up some parts this weekend through qualifying. His crew chief there making final adjustments. Kirby puts the visor down. We're in for a Top Fuel race.
Robin Kirby, white coloured car, closer to the camera. Graham Cowin, away they go. Cowin, oh, look at the flames coming out of Cowin's car, and he smoked it up halfway down and still drove across the line, and the thing's got plenty of fire coming out of it.
Well, smoked the tyres, unloaded the engine. She's over-revved. I'd say it's thrown the conrods out of it. There's still fire out the side of the engine. We could see the supercharger belt come off. Cowin is still using up parts, but he's the winner. That's what worries him. He's the winner. He knows he can come back. That's his only concern.
Well, there the flames still burning, and Robbie was talking about the fact they've been chewing up some parts. They've just chewed up a few more. Oh boy, Cowin, did you see the thing bite halfway down and just nearly kicked him? What's this?
Well, the car leaves hard. That's picture perfect at this stage. All of a sudden, you'll see the tyres start to spin. There it is. That free revs the engine. It revs too high. There's the supercharger belt gone because the engine is already broken. It wasn't a tuning fault. What it was the car broke traction, and when it revved so quickly, Graham wouldn't have had a hope to catch it.
So we're back to the problem of the heat of the track.
Well, it's a case of the heat's there. We know that. I guess these guys have to come up with a clutch combination to suit it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've seen it all today. We often say we've seen every season in a day's racing weather-wise. We've seen about everything happen here at Willowbank race-wise. Jimmy Reed now, Darren DeFilippo.
Yeah, 40-degree heat in the afternoon. Fortunately, it's cooled down, Darryl. It's down to, what, 32?
Yeah, nice cool 32. And been red hot today. You talk about being hot. Jimmy Reed's been on fire. And not the way that we just saw Graham Cowin on fire either. He has just been focused on this meeting. And DeFilippo will have to produce his best ever run, I reckon, if he's going to knock him off this time round.
Well, Darren DeFilippo, it's his first outing for quite some time with a True Flow exhaust car. A very popular Victorian-based team, but Reid, he's the man of the moment. Look at this.
Look at Reid just driving down this track. Everyone's had problem with tractions. He seems to be handling it first class.
Well, that was a driving job from Jim Reid. That's what it came down to, the experience of that man with over 20 years behind the wheel of a top fuel dragster. Have a look at this. He's had to use the handbrake, he's had to pedal it, he's had to do everything not to overpower this racetrack.
Yeah, he's handled it so well.
Reid.
So Jimmy Reid is now trackside with Michael Marr.
5.336.
Well, it smoked the tyres there. Not a good time. Good first quarter. But then it started to smoke the tyres on the top end and you had to walk the throttle.
So is that the heat still?
Oh, yeah. Just next round should be excellent. The middle of the track will be better and we'll be able to get through there without smoking the tyres.
You're waiting for things to cool down a bit?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, good luck, Jim.
Thank you.
Well, makes us feel better because he's picked it exactly how we've picked it. It has been that problem, but he's handled it so well. Rachelle Splatt now. Well, this lady never ceases to amaze me. She's not that big in stature, but let me tell you, got a heart like Farlap and got plenty of ability to back it up too.
Well, Rachelle Splatt will be taking on Pommy Steve Reid in the Sandoz car. Splatt with a big burnout, but I don't see Reid's car.
Well, Reid hasn't come to the line as yet. Rachelle has done the burnout. She's ready to back up. While we're waiting for Reid to come out, I have nothing but admiration for this lady. She is under pressure wherever she races. She's got tremendous promotional stuff that she has to do at every meeting, but she is always there.
Oh, it certainly is. Rachelle Splatt, Australia's Queen of Speed, and of course Dragway on the side of the car, their own family business, some support from Bob Jane T-Marts, but basically they run this car on a very tight budget. Their tune-up's been so good they haven't hurt a part all season.
Well, Stephen Reid not there. Pommy Steve Reid has not hit the line, so Rachelle Splatt will make a solo pass. We're not sure what's happened, but she knows what's on now. Look at the eyes. They tell you the story, the concentration, the focus this young lady has. She's brained them in America. She's brained them here in Australia. And I tell you what, she's fiercely competitive. And she doesn't get the publicity that maybe the Jim Reids and maybe the Graham Cowins get. But boy, oh boy, can she do it. Off the line, doesn't hold back, belts the thing and boots it down the line, gets it over the line, wants a good qualifying time.
5.19, 442 kilometres an hour, that the car left like a rocket, 375 kilometres an hour at half track. That's what the clocks are showing us.
Yeah, what do we tell you? Can she do it or not? And I tell you, she's in fine form and just going about the business very quietly this time round. A little bit of fuel burn off there, that's not a problem at all. Rachelle getting out of the car, she's only tiny, as I said, big heart, lots of ability, and she talks to Michael Marr about her chances.
Rachelle, 5.191.
That's great.
Sensational time.
Yeah, that's great. We had a bit of trouble getting down the track today, but we're still a little bit worried now, but that's perfect.
It's also a bit earlier in the day. It's still a bit hot. Jim Reid was saying still hot.
Yeah, it's still warm and the night will get cooler, so the car will only run better. So that's fantastic. My guys are great.
Yeah, they know it too. Have a look at that. All over their faces. They're pretty happy. They know they'll be back around again here at Willowbank. And I tell you what, Willowbank's producing the goods. Oh, don't go away. We're going to run down this strip when the lights go out as well. Alrighty, top field, Terry Sainty comes out. Have a listen to the crowd go up now. Out comes the roar and up goes the tyres, mate. Rachelle Splatt says you want to light them up? Watch me light them up and come with me.
Two of the young guns at top fuel, Rachelle Splatt and of course Terry Sainty. This is a new experience for Terry. Terry's never been in a semi-final before, but this car with a 540 in the first round, it's no easy beat.
Terry Sainty's done a terrific job. A really good job. The crew's been pumped. They've kept him going all day. They've been in his ear. They're giving him confidence, and that's all he needs. He's got there so far. Can he go on with it? Rachelle Splatt, no easy match-up wherever you meet her.
The winner of this will go through to the final.
So, Rachelle Splatt, Terry Sainty, crowd go hushed, away they go. Look at the flames come out of these things. That's what they've come to see, unfortunately. Sainty's flames gone out. It's all over for him. The fairy tales ended with a nightmare. Rachelle Splatt gets the cash.
Rachelle staying nice and consistent, a 5.25. She's into the final. Terry Sainty, we saw a flash of flame there. Rachelle, once again, just that excess fuel. Have a look at Sainty's car. The flame not as high as Rachelle's. Bang, there it is, supercharger explosion. That's what that is, Darryl.
Whoa, flame went out. What a shame for the youngster. I've said they've revved him up all day, and unfortunately the engine revved up and let go. So it's an experience for him. Rachelle Splatt, good drive. Graham Cowin comes out. Mr. Quick comes out in the big rocket machine. He'll take on Jimmy Reed. Look at him light him up, Cowin. And I tell you what, he hasn't been in the form of late that we know he can produce.
Well, this is what it comes down to. That qualifying performance this afternoon left Graham Cowin down the field a little bit in the hot conditions. Normally, you wouldn't expect to see him run Jim Reed till the final, but here, it's all at stake. These guys want the championship this year. Jim Reed, Graham Cowin going at it in the semi-final.
Rachelle Splatt's already in the final. She's taken Terry Sainty. Jim Reed running on emotion here at Willowbank. The crowd's running with him. Graham Cowin always a favourite with the crowd, but I reckon he's got to go in as the underdog because Jimmy Reed, 13 years of sponsorship, it all finishes here. Wouldn't he love to win for them? He took a win 13 years ago. Could he finish with a win? To do it, to make the final and get that win, he's got to beat Graham Cowin here. And even though they're the best of mates off the track, Cowin doesn't want him there.
Well, Cowin knows the championship points are at stake. He only won the 95 championship in the second last pairing of the entire season. He doesn't want to give away any points. It really comes down to this race for a spot in the final, but can the winner of this run quicker than 5.25 for lane choice? That's what Splatt's already done.
You got that right. So Jimmy Reed, Graham Cowin, as I've said, they've been hard at it for year after year. Cowin, of course, regarded as the quickest man in the country. But Jimmy Reed, he's not running on fuel, he's not running on alcohol. I tell you what, he's running on adrenaline. The crew, they all know how important this race is to get to the final. Everybody in the crowd's got their fingers crossed. 14 championships, this man. He's been the master of the sport for so long. Can he hang on for the last meeting? Can he take the red, yellow and white car in? Away they go. Look at him, Cowin. Cowin got the jump. Oh, what about Jimmy Reed? I talked about emotion. What about that? He got it sideways and just drove past Cowin.
5.36 for the win. He's in the final. There's Denise Reed. She knows. The whole team, the whole Winfield team are running on emotion here. But Graham Cowin, huge engine explosion. We'll see it on the replay.
Watch this, there it goes now, but I tell you what, Jimmy Reed didn't know that at the time, and Reed's flames went up and down as he killed it there, but watch the crowd here. This is emotion aplenty here at Willowbank. What a matchup, what a shame it finished that way.
Reed's in trouble there, smoking the tyres, gets back into it, actually does a wheel stand at half track at about 350 kilometres an hour.
Crowd go up here. I don't care who you follow in this sport, everybody's behind Reed tonight. We'll be back with the finals, Australia. Stay with us. What about this for a race meeting? Right, not too much camaraderie here now. They're out the track. Rachelle Splatt comes out breathing fire. Jimmy Reed, I think, would have to be the most sentimental favourite I've ever seen. I mentioned that he'd been associated with his sponsor for 13 years earlier. Obviously that's wrong. It's 23 years. It's the longest sponsorship in this country, one of the longest in the world, and I think everyone's got their fingers crossed that he can perhaps win this.
December 30th, 1995, the final event, the final Winfield-sponsored drag racing in Australia, and Jim Reed trying to win it for his sponsor. He's got over 20,000 people. They love Rachelle, but tonight they just all think it's got to be Jim's night. We don't know yet. Rachelle's the one with lane choice. She's the one with the quickest times in the lead-up.
So Rachelle Splatt, lane choice, goes into this final. I mean, you've got to feel sorry for her. I've never seen Reedy so pumped up. He has really been jumping around like a leaping gazelle around the pits. He's been waiting for this final to come. He had to fight to get there. Rachelle Splatt, here they go. And look at this, it's a great matchup. 2 all side by side. I think Jim Reed, I think someone wrote the script. And yes, look at the crew. They've gone up. Hard to tell where we're from. Jimmy Reed's done it. Jimmy Reed has done it. Oh, what an unbelievable win. I've never seen him so animated.
Really pumped up in the car. A 5.12 beat a 5.20. Rachelle was right with him, but Jimmy Reed, he's completed the fairy tale.
Oh, incredible stuff as we see him off the line here. Look at him light him up. Jimmy Reed came out all guns smoking and Rachelle took it to him.
There was nothing in it in the reaction times. This was a side-by-side race till the very end. Reed the winner.
So there we go. Jimmy Reed comes across the line. Michael Mara's down there. We'll be talking to the man. I don't know the pressure that he's held over this weekend, but he's managed to pull it off. You've got to feel a bit sorry for Rachelle Splatt, but look at him. I've never seen him this pumped up. Michael Mars with him now.
Jim, 512, you got your send-off. Congratulations.
I never win another race.
This is the one you wanted?
This is the one I wanted.
You're pretty emotional, eh? Congratulations again, Jim.
Well, what do you say, Rob? I mean, he's waited so long. That sponsorship deal, 23 years. He drove his heart out to get there. Rachelle Splatt took it him. I've never seen him like that, and I've known him for a long time.
Well, Jim Reed, 23 years with Winfield. He calls them family, not a sponsor, so he's losing his part of his family as far as he's concerned, but he's given them the send-off that he wanted.
And look at the crew. This was the reaction from the crew. Listen to this.
What a beauty! Oh, do I love that. Yeah. Love that.
We're going to go back up the track.
Wife Denise comes over, the crew. They are a family. They're as tight as you get. And look at this. Look at the scenes here. The crowd waiting for him to come back down the line. There he is.
What a way to go out. Winfield, they've been his support for 23 years, and he's given them the send-off that you couldn't write this in a Hollywood script.
There he is, Jimmy Reed. The crowd just loving every second of what he's done here. It's been a fantastic meeting at Willowbank. One that'll stand in our minds for a long time.